friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming 4 looks with the 4 horror palettes that Glamlite launched in like October, I think. Oh my gosh. And I bought them all, so I figured let me go ahead and film a look with each of them. So if you guys are interested, just keep watching. If you are new to my channel, welcome. My name is KARENHARRIS. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. I do post quite often, so highly recommend subscribing, turning on the bell so you're notified every time I post. And without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, so I am filming my last look today, so I'm very excited. I'm a little bit, I don't even know what the right word is. I don't want to say, I think fatigued would be the right word with these, and I'm sure there's so much behind the scenes that I don't know about these launches, but I feel like them coming out with these back to back was almost a little detrimental. I felt like none of the launches had their time to shine, and I'm sure there are so many contracts involved with things like intellectual property. There's other players involved, so it's not just the brand coordinating all of this, and I'm sure that they felt under the gun to get all of this out before the Halloween season ended and holiday season started. So what I wish could have happened was that these were spaced out more, although I feel like would these have made sense if they came out any other time of the year? I know they did the Chucky palette, and I thought that was such a perfect launch for Valentine's Day because we're always thinking of like mushy gushy like Romeo and Juliet stuff, so I thought this palette was so well timed, but the rest of them, it just feels like they never got their chance to shine. Now, I'm not a horror fan myself, so you guys have to tell me like if these are your dream palettes, like you're so glad they could come out with 20 more of these and you'll buy them all. Like I want to hear from you, but so far, I've played with these two and the Friday the 13th. So we're going to play with Ghostface today. And this is actually the one that I was expecting to like the least. But I did just watch it and I have a little bit of hope. So let's go ahead and dive into all of the looks. I'm going to have them like go back to back. And then at the end, I will kind of give you guys my thoughts and like summarize everything. So I will timestamp down below in case you want to skip around and see a particular palette, but from what I can tell, all of these eyeshadow palettes are in stock on the Glamlite website. I am a Glamlite affiliate, so if you use my code KHMAKEUP on the Glamlite website, you can save, and sometimes they have even better discounts going on, so in that case you can also just use my affiliate link, and I think I will still get credit for your purchase. So that's something that I just want to mention in case you guys want to help out the channel and you're placing an order anyway, you can do those things. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the first look that I created with these palettes. So we're going to play with the Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the Freddy Krueger palette and it looks like this. I will show you guys close-ups and swatches just so y'all can see. And I definitely thought this was a lot darker than some of you might be comfortable with. So not seeing a lot of like lighter greens in here, but I'm sure we'll be able to pull something off. So let's get into an eye look. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this Wet n Wild brush, and I'm going to put the shade Asylum on the outer corner. Just going to do one of my very standard looks because honestly, we're in a bit of a time crunch and I have places to be, people to see, things to do. So I'm trying to hustle. Okay, next I'm going to take the shade called Elm Street and put that all over the crease. Gonna go back to Asylum and just gonna blend a little bit more. And I'll fix that up in a second. I'm just gonna grab the shade called Boiler Room and probably Haunted and throw that on the lid. I'm taking a flat brush from Sigma. I'm going to go into the shade Haunted first. Pick that up, give it a nice spray. Put that on the outer part of the lid. That is a very pretty shade of green. It's like an emerald. Okay, I'm going to take the shade Killer right here, and I'm going to put that on the inner corner instead. I don't know, I just changed my mind, but that shade Haunted is so pretty. I'm going to spray. These shimmers are so pretty. I'm not surprised though. I feel like I knew Glamlite was going to kill their metallics in this palette because they just have such a solid metallic eyeshadow formula. That is so pretty, the shade Killer. I knew it was gonna reflect green, so I'm happy I tried that out on the lids. Super cute. Okay, so I'm gonna put on some liner quick. I did grab the Melt liners from a Black Friday sale, so I haven't tried the black shade yet. I'm gonna do that now. That is so creamy, love that. And then I'm going to take the shade Call Elm Street, and I'm going to run that on the waterline all the way from the inner corner to the outer corner. And I'm going to go back into that brush from Wet n Wild and just kind of stamp that dark green shade on the outer edge. I don't want as crisp a like wing, so I'm just kind of trying to create like a oval-y shape there instead of my usual like curve. My brows are so grown out. I need to go get my brows done again. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot that I bought the blush palette from this collection as well. So I figured why not throw it in since I'm working with it anyway. I'm going to use one of these shades for my look today. I think I'm going to use this first color. It looks really vibrant. And if I know Glamlite, they made this really pigmented. So I'm going to try and go easy on myself, but how pretty is that? I can't wait to try the blush in the middle. It looks hella cool, but I'm just blending this out. Went a little wild over there, so just gonna try and blend that a little bit. But man, I love a pigmented red blush palette, so I'm excited for that. Okay, so I want to use the lip oil as well. I had some lip balm on, but I just took that off, so let's see what color this is, or if it's just like clear, or oh, that's pretty nice. It has like a little bit of a minty tingle to it, but it feels pretty nice for a lip oil, so I'm excited that I have both of those items. Now I'm gonna go off camera, finish up the look, and I'll be right back to show you guys. Okay friends, so here is the finished look with the Freddy Krueger palette. What do you guys think? Definitely let me know down in the comments. I had a lot of fun trying this one out. I think it works beautifully. I'm very excited to dive into the red version of this palette, so we'll see how it goes. I will say that the shades were light enough for my skin tone, but I'm like a medium tan skin tone, so if you're lighter than me, this is going to be a very grungy palette, and maybe that's what you need in your collection. So those are all my thoughts. Let's roll into another look. Okay friends, it's time for look number 2 with the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. This is going to be the Dream Master palette. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Okay, so I'm starting off on the outer corner as always. I'm going to grab the shade Terror and mix it in with the shade Villain and just create a really dark outer corner. I really like having a lot of contrast in my looks recently, so I do like that they included a black in the palette. And I'm just going to leave that like that. I will fix it up later. I'm going to go in with the shade Chest of Souls, which is like a red, but it's like a salmony red. And I'm going to grab a clean blending brush and I'm going to go into it. And I'm going to pop that in the crease all the way from the outer corner to the inner corner. I feel like already this palette has a better gradient than the green one. So I just want to share that because I really feel like that green palette, of course, if I was using my entire collection, I could have pulled another palette in to lighten it up. But on its own, as a standalone, I feel like it needed a lighter shade. I do love that these palettes are so affordable. So Glamlite does do a good job making their palettes very affordable. Okay, so now that I have that shade down, I'm going to go back into the shade called Terror. And I'm going to keep working on the outer corner. Okay, so the outer corner is looking exactly how I'd like. Now I'm going to go into this shade called Midnight, which is a gorgeous like blood red. And I'm going to kind of slice that into the middle part of the lid here, as well as just kind of like pop it on the crease a little bit and like use it to bridge the outer corner with the inner corner. And then I'm going to take the blending brush and I'm just going to help blend the whole thing a little bit more, just to make it look nice and smooth. So I feel like this looks very, very dramatic. Now I really want to use the shade called Nightmare, which is again like a peachy strawberry kind of red shade, and I want to use Springwood Slasher. So I'm just trying to decide where to place those two. I think Springwood Slasher is going to go on the lid, and then Nightmare is probably going to be an inner corner shade. So I'm going to grab a clean flat eyeshadow brush and we're going to start off with Springwood Slasher. I'm expecting this silver to be nice and like Tin Man creamy, so let's see. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting this to be a more foily silver shade. It's definitely a little bit more, I don't know, not that it's a topper, it's definitely nice and creamy and thick, but I was expecting it to like foil onto my lid, and I feel like I definitely have to like build it up a little bit, so that was a little bit different from what I was expecting. Gonna go back into Midnight and again just want to help kind of blend that silver into the outer part of the lid. Okay, next I'm going to grab my favorite Game Beauty brush and I'm going to go into Nightmare, and we're just going to see how that does on the inner corner. I'm just going to give it a nice spray. And, okay. Am I just like being punked here? I feel like I'm not seeing anything. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's like a duochrome pinky golden shade, so interesting. Okay, I was hoping this look would be a little bit more babam than it is, but I'm going to go into the shade Midnight with the pencil brush and just run that along the crease, and then I will throw on some eyeliner. These palettes are okay, but I feel like I was expecting them to be like the best horror ones because they saved the best for last, but just in my head comparing this one to Chucky, I feel like Chucky was a little bit more interesting, so I'm like, am I missing something here? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm not as impressed with this one as I was with Chucky, but we'll wait and see. Let's put it all together. So I'm trying to decide if I want to do a black eyeliner or a red eyeliner. Maybe we'll do some black eyeliner. Ooh, I want to use my Melt one. We'll use some black eyeliner from Melt. I just got this, and of course I saw Melt's Black Friday sale. They're having these eyeliners are $5. I'm like, are you seriously kidding me? I mean, I got them for $13, but $5, like that is an epic deal. So I'm just gonna wait for that to set before I like go in with mascara and stuff. But let's play with the blush palette because I did buy the blush palette from this collection as well as the lip oil. I am wearing the lip oil. This is my second time wearing it and I do think it's absolutely lovely. And then I did wear this shade yesterday. I think for this look, I think the darkest blush is going to be beautiful. So let's go ahead and apply it. I'm just going to grab it on this brush from Blend Bunny. And it's pretty pigmented, so I'm trying to go in as lightly as I possibly can. And then just give it like a little blendy blend. Okay, so there is that dark blush shade. So the look is almost done. I'm going to be right back and then we can talk about my thoughts really quick on this palette. Okay friends, so here's the finished look, and yes, I kind of look super boring with my lip oil, but I really like this lip oil and I'm like, I don't know what lip shade is going to pair with such a dramatic red look anyway, so I might as well just use the lip oil from Glamlite, and I might end up doing that with the other two palettes in this video too. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the Dream Master palette. So I'm very curious to try the other two palettes I ordered from their horror collections from October. I am trying the last palettes that they launched first, which I think is kind of an odd thing because I'm not trying them in the order that they launched. So I'm comparing these ones to the Chucky palette, and I feel like the Chucky palette had a better formula. I don't know if it's just me. The mattes are nice, but the metallics aren't my favorite. Like, they're okay. It's not like I think we should toss these in the trash, but I just feel like I know that Glamlite has a more creamy metallic formula than this, but I will be trying the other two palettes next. So let's go ahead and get into a third look and see if the quality is any different in the more pricey palettes from Glamlite. Okay friends, today's palette is the Friday the 13th palette. I'm really excited to play with this. I think I'm going to do like a blue-green look with this one. So I'm going to show you guys the swatches and the close-ups just so you can see it. So this palette has 7 shimmer shadows and 9 matte shadows, and they all swatch beautifully. I feel like this one has the most variety of colors, so I'm really excited to put it on my eyeballs. I also have a special guest in studio, as per always. It is nap time, swatch time, film time here in my house, so we're going to do that real quick. Now, the sweater, super cute. I got it on Amazon during Black Friday. In case you're wondering, I might link it down below if you guys want me to. Okay, I'm going to go into the shade called You're Doomed. It's this matte, like, dark navy cool tone shade, and I'm gonna pop that on the outer corner. My baby is in here as always. She's got a lot to say. Okay, next I'm gonna go into this shade called J. Voorhees, I think is how you say that. I feel like I've seen this movie, but I couldn't really tell you much about it. I'm just layering that kind of on the outer corner as well, right next to the green. Those are some really pretty dark pigmented shadows. Holy moly! Okay, next I'm gonna go into the shade called Camp Counselor. It has a stamp on it that says Jason Lives, which looks nice and creepy. And I'm just gonna use this brush that I used in a look yesterday, but I used my Sigma switch to clean it off, and I'm just running this shade on the crease. They did so many grungy palettes for Halloween, and I feel like I was sitting here thinking about it, like I was thinking like, what am I gonna frame this video like? And I think I am gonna kind of frame it in the aspect of, is it too much? Like, did they do too much? And I'm not like a horror lover, so obviously I'm not the perfect person to answer this question, but I can answer it from a perspective of a makeup lover. So we'll see what conclusion I come to. I've played with 3 of the palettes I'm going to feature in this video so far. This is my 3rd look with the Glamlite ones, and so I'll be filming the end of this series possibly tomorrow. So I've been just like contemplating what I'm going to say at the end of this video as I kind of go through the motions of filming this look. But that looks really crisp. It's definitely very grungy. Of course, I have somewhere to be today, but I'm just going to do what I feel is best for me. Now, I really want to play with the shade called Nightmare. It's like a really pretty blue-green shade, and maybe Axe. So I think I'll mix those. This shade called Can't Hide is also really pretty. It's like that blue-brown pigment, but it's more like pink brownie. So I think that could be cute on the lids too. Maybe I'll try that. Maybe it'll be like a plot twist for this look. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna try it out and see. That was not my plan, but why not? Okay, so it's called Can't Hide. And this one also says Jason Lives. I've been trying to use up this bottle of Rare Beauty setting spray. Pretty. It looks silvery on the lid, but I can see a bunch of like blue shimmers. This look definitely doesn't seem to go with this sweatshirt, but YOLO. Okay, I really like how it looks. It's a little bit over the top, but you know, that never hurt anybody. So now I'm gonna work on the lower lash line quick. Okay, so I just used this Melt eyeliner in the shade Apricot Cream in the waterline. I used a light shade just to kind of, you know, help the eye be a little bit open. So now I'm gonna go back into Your Doom, which is this beautiful teal matte shade, and I'm just gonna run that on the lower lash line. Okay, so the waterline is looking a little bit thicker than I wanted, but that's all right. We'll make it work. And I'm going to take a little bit of the shade called Masked, and I'm just going to run that on the lower lash line as well. And then for the inner corner shade, I'm going to use Jason Lives. It's like a silvery color. Actually, it doesn't look that light, but I'm just going to pop a little bit on the inner corner. Okay, this is very, very dramatic looking. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm going to put on some mascara, some blush, some lipstick, highlighter, all the things, and I'll be right back to give you guys some quick thoughts on this palette. Okay, friends, so here is the finished look. What do we think? Let me tell you really quick what else is on my face today. So my lip product is from Rare Beauty. This is one of her tinted lip oils in the shade. This is called Affection. I thought a berry would look really cool with this look. And then for highlighter, I have on the Too Faced Moon Crush highlighter in Shooting Star. Okay, and then for blush, I use the Chest of Souls blush. This dark shade I thought would pair really well with this look as well. So that is some of the makeup on my face today for this look. And now let me really quick tell you some of my first impressions of the Friday the 13th palette. Like I said at the start, I think this has the most interesting color story to me. I wasn't planning on buying any of these Halloween collections. I skipped out on Ghostface. And then when Friday the 13th came out, I figured, let me throw Ghostface in my order as well. So that's why I ended up getting that one. But of the 4 palettes they launched like back to back over Halloween and the Chucky palette, I feel like this one has the most variety of shades. So I was very excited to play with it. This is my 3rd look with these palettes now. And so the fatigue of the kind of cool tone, grungy shades is really starting to set in. I've never been a big fan of cool tones, but I will say with it being so trendy in 2023, I feel like a lot of brands have created cool tone palettes that are appealing to me. But this one, I feel like it's just the same shades over and over again, kind of mixed and matched and kind of just turned around. I know that they're not the exact same shades, but how can you have this many shades of the same? Like, it just gets a little bit old and a little bit boring. So those are my thoughts after using 3 palettes. Now the next look I'm gonna do is with the Ghostface one, and that'll be the last one. So let's go ahead and get into that. Okay, so I'm about to create the last look with the Ghostface palette, and I was thinking that I might try doing the reverse smoky eye. I think that's what it's called. I did it with another look. I think it was a look I created with the Cosmic Brushes palette, and I got some decent feedback. I think people thought it was nice. So I'm going to try and get outside my comfort zone and see if I can recreate something similar. So I think what I'm going to do is start off with the shade called Curfew Hour. It's like a almost like a teal, like a really, really dark teal shade, and we're just going to put that on the inner part of the eye, and I'm going to also bring it onto the lid. At one point, Glamlite had this Michaela brush set for like, I think it was $5. And I was like, oh my god, that's such a good deal. Because their brushes are actually really good. I have their candy cane brush set that they did a while ago. And it's actually really good. So hopefully you guys were able to snag some of these Black Friday deals. Let me know what was the best Black Friday sale you snagged, because I would love to hear. I think for me, I bought some stuff on the Melt website. It was so affordable. I wanted to get the Bailey Syrian collection, but I talked myself out of it. I don't really want everything in that collection. I want the eyeshadow palette, so I decided to wait. So next I'm going to go into the shade called Ghostly Gray, and I'm basically going to bring that onto the crease as well and just kind of blend it back into the blue shade that I have on the inner corner. These shadows are really nice and pigmented. The other thing I will say is this palette seems to have the most contrast as well, which I like, because the other palettes all have like more mid-tone to dark shades, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, don't get me wrong, I love a good grungy moment, but they're so grungy. I'm like, who's gonna want to wear these colors in this many palettes? I'm just really wanting to know. Okay, next we're gonna go in with Movie Night, and I'm just gonna use that kind of to, you know, I just want to make like a whimsical outer corner, not very precise. So I'm like very messily trying to blend. Usually I am very precise with my outer corner. I use this brush from Unearthly and do kind of like a faux winged look, but this time I just want it to be like super, like just blended and almost like a little bit murky, just like a cloudy look on my lids. So I think that's pretty much how I wanted it to be. Okay, and then for the lid shade, I want to use the shade called Mirror Gleam. It's so pretty. It's like a greeny, purpley, taupey color. There's some really pretty shimmers actually in this palette, like unexpectedly beautiful. So I do think that this palette is a little bit of a hidden gem. I was pleasantly surprised by it. So, oh gosh, that is a very creamy shimmer, and I just kind of took like a whole chunk out of it. So let me go ahead and kind of press it back in there. Oh my goodness. And I just need to spray my brush. This brush might have been a little stiff. And I'm just gonna pack on this very pretty greeny metallic shade. How pretty is that? Okay, this brush is like not doing it justice. Wow, that is so beautiful. Are you kidding me? Do you guys see that? It has like a ton of like almost like a purpley tint to it. And I'm just gonna put that all over the lid. Okay, kind of a weird whimsical look, but I'm gonna go with it. For the lower lash line, I'm gonna use this white eye pencil from Melt. And we're just gonna run that on the lower lash line. So for the outer corner, I'm going to go into the shade called Movie Night, and I'm just going to run that just onto the lower lash line as well. Okay, and then I'm going to go in with my little Glamlite pencil brush, and I'm just going to extend that shade called Curfew Hour into the inner corner just a little bit. And then I'm just going to go back in with that brush that I had the lighter shade on and just blend it out just a little bit more. Okay, so kind of a different look. I feel like a raccoon a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to work with it. And then really quick, since this is the last look with this series, I'm going to use the blush palette from A Nightmare on Elm Street collection. And I'm just going to take a brush, and I've been waiting to use this like bright shade. So yeah, I'm just going to lightly tap that on because these are so pigmented. Beautiful, but absolutely pigmented. And just give it a little blendy blend. And then for highlighter, I have this highlighter from Kaleidos called Mars Melter. And I'm just going to run that on. It's like a red highlighter. So I thought it would pair well with this look. Okay, so the look is pretty much done. I just need to put on some mascara and do something with this hair, throw on some earrings, you know the drill, so I'll be right back. Okay friends, so here is the fourth and final look of this series of 4 looks created with the 4 Halloween releases from Glamlite. So definitely let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite look. Now, as far as the Ghostface palette goes, I feel like I'm most surprised by this one. I don't know if you guys could tell, but when I swatched it, I was like, oh, okay, there's actually quite a bit of contrast in this palette, which I really appreciate. So yeah, this is how the look turned out. Now let's go ahead and kind of talk about all of these horror palettes because I did pick them all up with my own money. So first of all, I did skip on the Ghostface launch because I was like, I don't really need another palette that looks like this. It's so like gray and cool toned, and I know people that got this in PR were kind of saying it looks nicer than you think it does, or at least that's how I interpreted it. But I was like, I don't need it, so I didn't end up purchasing this one. But then I saw the Friday the 13th and I was like, oh, that one's actually pretty interesting. It's got quite a bit of color to it, but honestly, these are just very much in the same vein, just different colors, but they're all kind of mid-tone to dark, grungy shades. And on my skin tone, I really felt like these all look the same on me. So I feel like this could have just used a little bit more contrast, at least one light matte shadow in here, just to kind of make this a more versatile palette. So yeah, I'm a little bit bummed about this one because it was definitely the most interesting to me. And then these two for the Nightmare on Elm Street, I was really excited about the palettes. But again, once I saw them in person, I realized that there isn't enough contrast in these. The green one is very, very kind of dark and grungy, which I don't necessarily love. The red one is beautiful, but I prefer, if I'm talking about formulas and stuff, I prefer kind of the formula of the 15 pan palettes versus these 10 pan palettes. So I know that these are a little bit more affordable, but I feel like for the price difference, you're better off kind of buying one of the 15 pan palettes. So the Ghostface palette and the Chucky palette both retail for $32. The Friday the 13th is $34. And then the Elm Street, there's a bundle for $44. If you want to just purchase one individually, they each retail for $24 a pop. So just wanted to let you guys know about the price point. But overall, honestly, I feel like these are all so similar that you really don't need to buy all of them unless you're a collector. Even like all of the colors on the packaging are all the same. They're a little hard to tell apart unless you really are paying attention, but I think that overall the feeling I have after using all of these is a little bit fatigued. I'm definitely ready for them to kind of attack a different concept. I know there's supposed to be a Garfield launch this week, I think is what I saw. So I'm excited to see that, but I have a feeling, just based on the cover art that I saw, that it's going to look a little bit like their Barbie palette. That's going to be my speculation there. So yeah, let me know what you think, because I definitely bought them. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I am part of the problem, right? Because I made the purchase, and if I wanted to vote with my dollar, I should have just not bought them. But I also review eyeshadow palettes for a living, so I did kind of want to see what this was all about. And Glamlite is one of my favorite like indie brands, so of course I was curious. But I think if I could go back, I'm still happy with the Chucky palette. This one I think they actually did send me in PR, but these ones I bought all of them, and I feel like I should have just followed my gut and skipped all of these because they're just all right. The Ghostface palette actually I do like a lot more than I thought I would. So yeah, I guess I kind of surprised myself, but those are kind of my thoughts on the Glamlite horror collection, saga, I don't know what to call it. I know they're signing a lot of deals. They've been like posting all kinds of stuff. I think I saw they maybe finalized a deal with Kiss, so I don't know if that's another collaboration they have coming up. They just showed like that they were at a record company, and I think I saw like a Kiss cake which they had made, so I was like, is this like a hint? I don't know. I could be wrong. What the heck do I know? But anyways, those are all my thoughts on that. I also need to add my 2 cents on the blush palette and the lip oil. I actually think the lip oil is really nice. This retails for $10. And like I said, you can use a code. It's a really nice formula, not too thick, but really nice and hydrating. So I love that. And I do like this blush palette. I mean, it's definitely like very slight differences, but I kind of love that you can like mix and match. So if you want to like lighten this one up or this one up, you can kind of get into this shade. You can create your own custom cheek shade, which I'm not mad about at all. So yeah, I actually really like these 2 products. I know these launch with like full collections, but I just picked up the eyeshadow palettes, and then I picked up these 2 products from the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. So that is it. Not that exciting. I feel like meh. You know, I'm glad I got to try them all out, but if I could go back in time and not spend the money, I probably wouldn't spend the money on all of them. So let me know your thoughts. I want to hear your 2 cents. I gave you mine. So let me know what your favorite look was. Did you think they were all ugly? Totally fine if you tell me that as well. It's all engagement after all, so I appreciate it. Thank you guys for checking out this video, and I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye, friends.